There were radio mics all over Martha's Vineyard. And you could hear, you know, all of the communication going on. If you could just walk down the street, you could hear, and you could hear basically every day you could hear this. The shark is not working. The shark is not working. And it was stereo all over Martha's Vineyard, everywhere.
When it came time for the producers to see the shark, you kind of rehearse those moments so that everybody will be suitably impressed.
David and I were being ferried out to the boat.
Out they came. I said, okay, cue the shark. Kersplash, you know, flop, 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 flop.
We saw our shark dive to the bottom of the sea from a barge, and there went our careers, we thought.
It's not like today where you can fix your mistakes with a computer, and you can put the shark in with the computer if you want to. It was just a big machine that took like 20 people to operate.
It was my problem from a financial standpoint because it drove us over budget, way over budget. We doubled the budget.
You know, I mean, the studio was running out of patience. There's no question about it. And things were, you know, the atmosphere was getting a little tense.
And I remember every day about the 50th day of shooting, the crew would come over to me, and they'd all ask me during the day, when are we going to be done with this movie?
And we were working for a studio that has a reputation for staying on schedule and on time. And Stephen, of course, was very worried.
Stephen was under enormous pressure, unlike any pressure that I've been aware of since.
And Zanuck and I, schooled in movie wisdom, said, keep shooting until they take the film out of the camera, because you may never start again if you stop.
I think one of the things that was in his favor was the fact that Lorraine Gary was playing a leading role.
My husband, Sid, was on the line, and it had that whole other kind of dynamic going for me.
No, I knew that we would finish it. I just didn't think it would be very good. I was very stupid. I was very young, you know. I didn't know what it took to make a movie.
And we warned everybody, don't tell anybody what we're doing, you know. But every time we burped, or every time the shark burped, you know, it was a headline.
I did some talk show somewhere, and I said that the film was in trouble. I can write a book about the stupid things I've said.
Mercifully, the studio did not send Lear jets with executives out because they knew they couldn't do anything about it. They couldn't shoot it, as the legend goes, in Griffith Park.
One day, you heard this. The shark is working. Repeat. The shark is working. The boat is sinking. The boat is sinking. And I was on that boat.
In order to get the effect we wanted, which was thinking the shark had hit the bottom of the boat and was rocking the boat, I had them go underwater a little bit and put a big bolt in the side of the boat. And from that bolt, and I run a line underneath the boat and out to a speedboat.
We're on the Orca, about 200 yards off the coast of Chappaquiddick Island in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
And unbeknownst to anybody, they had pulled the planking away from the sides of the boat.
And we started taking on water for real.
We heard on the walkie-talkie these screams of panic and this riot going on.
It looked like a little miniature version of the Titanic.
I remember somebody saying, run the cameras for the insurance claims. We want to see how it's going.
And the boat was sinking, and they were cheering, you know. It was like, you know, oh, this is the end. Like, we're going to sink the boat, and then we can go home.
John Carter, who won an Academy Award, by the way, for Best Sound for Jaws, he picked up in the Niagara. He was on the boat and held over his head and said, the actors saved the sound department.
At that moment, Robert Shaw got real calm and began to get very well dressed. He buttoned up and he fixed his... As the water was raising up our legs and above our knees, we were in trouble.
I came up to the stern of the boat and said, look, just give me a fender, put something between me and the boat. And we took the Orca and shoved it up onto the beach.
And we did. We got it in pretty close to shore, and the mast was still sticking out of the water.
And explaining it to the studio that night was a rough call to make. I mean, we literally sunk. We're going into Menifee Pond, and this is where all the effect stuff from the boats and barges and fetch barge and shark cages all ended up. And we're coming up on the shark cages that are here on the beach. We transported the sharks on. This piece here on the bottom is the old effects barge. With all the controls, the big compressor that controls the underwater mechanism that moves the left to right shark and the right to left. And just behind that is the orca. That's what's left of her. Well, we're standing right inside of the orca. And this is one we could sink on command. They had rows of barrels under here. They're still under here. And they stood on end, on an angle. And when we pulled the lever, they would tip up, sections of them. So we could sink the corners of the boat. We could level it up and get it in a position so the shark could come up and take and bite out of the stern. And we could smash it and then do it again until we got it right.
On a good day, I get 5 shots. On a good day at sea, 5 shots. On an average day, about 3. On a bad day, none.
We shot all through the summer. Basically, I think 2.5 months was added to the schedule. But eventually, Stephen had enough footage to put the movie together, and then when we came back, all that was left to shoot was a few shots in the tank on the back lot at Universal.
When we got back, we were not heroes. We had gone way over budget. It was like, don't talk to the Jaws people.
By the time we got back, Stephen saw his cut.
Brenna Fields was our editor, reverently described in Hollywood as the mother cutter.
She was like our mom, and she cooked for us. She was a very charismatic person.
It's probably very trite to say this, but she was a worker. She was a worker bee.
Brenna and I worked every day on the picture at her house in a little cutting room by the pool.
I think Stephen enjoyed the fact that my mother was always willing to try things, whether they sounded crazy or not, but she would just jump right in and try it.
Well, we're looking for a nice place to show that Quint refuses to slow down the boat.
She had that ability to pluck just the right pieces here and there. And, I mean, she just made a tremendous contribution.
That's the fun.
She's kind of an unheralded hero of the piece, in my estimation.
We needed something that everybody could say, that's a shark. We took a large Coke bottle, and we shook it up real good, threw it out on the cement, and it goes... Put that in a zipper and a little bit of water, and you've got the shark coming out.